A baby horse is born. Within an hour, it is standing on its own wobbly legs. By the end of the day, it can run. A baby human is born, and it cannot do anything. It cannot walk. It cannot crawl. It cannot crawl. It cannot cling to its mother. It cannot even hold up its own head. Leave it alone for a single day and it will die. Compared to almost every other animal on Earth, your species arrives in the world catastrophically, almost absurdly, helpless. And here is the puzzle that should stop you cold. Humans are the most successful large animal on the planet. We build cities and spacecraft. So why does the most dominant species alive produce the single most useless newborn in the animal kingdom? That helplessness looks like a terrible design flaw, but hidden inside it is one of the most important secrets of what makes you human. Stay with me, because by the end, that useless floppy newborn will look like a work of genius. First, let's be honest about just how unfinished a human baby is. Look at other newborns. A baby deer, a foal, a calf, walks almost immediately. Biologists call these animals precocial. Born ready. Their brains and bodies are well developed at birth, wired up and good to go. Now look at a human infant. It arrives blind to meaning, unable to move on purpose, its nervous system barely connected. In the raw sense, a human is born unfinished. The Swiss biologist Adolf Portmann studied this, and he argued something remarkable. Judging by our biology, a human baby is effectively born about a year too early. He suggested that to be as developed as other primate newborns, a human would need to gestate for roughly 21 months, not 9. In other words, you spent your first year of life as a sort of external fetus, finishing outside the womb what other animals finish inside. Scientists call this secondary altriciality. Altricial means helpless at birth, and humans are extraordinarily so. So the real question sharpens. Why? Why would evolution eject a baby a full year before it is ready? For decades, the leading answer was a beautifully simple trade-off. And it starts with the fact that you walk on 2 legs. When your ancestors stood upright and became fully bipedal, it changed everything about the body, including the shape of the pelvis. To walk efficiently on 2 legs, the hips had to narrow, and the birth canal had to become tighter and more constrained. At the same time, over millions of years, something else was happening. The human brain was ballooning, growing larger and larger, generation after generation. Now you can see the collision: a narrowing birth canal, a growing head. These 2 trends were on course to crash into each other, and an anthropologist named Sherwood Washburn gave this famous conflict a name. He called it the obstetrical dilemma. The dilemma is this: the baby's head cannot get much bigger, or it simply will not fit through the mother's pelvis. So the classic argument went, evolution found a compromise. Push the baby out earlier, while its head and brain are still small enough to pass. Let it finish growing on the outside. In this view, human helplessness is the price of 2 things we treasure: walking upright and having big brains. The baby is born early and defenseless, because that is the only way to thread a large brain through a narrow, upright pelvis. For a long time, this was the answer. But science is never finished, and here honesty matters because this tidy story has been seriously challenged. An anthropologist named Holly Dunsworth looked hard at the numbers, and she and her colleagues proposed a different idea, often called the energetics hypothesis. Their argument is that birth is not timed by the width of the pelvis at all. It is timed by the mother's metabolism. Growing a big-brain baby is astonishingly expensive. It burns enormous amounts of energy, and Dunsworth's team argue that there is a ceiling to how much energy a pregnant woman's body can supply. Birth happens, in this view, when the baby's demands begin to exceed what the mother can physically sustain. The baby comes out not because it cannot fit, but because mother and child have hit the limit of the energy she can pour into the pregnancy. Notice something important. Whichever explanation is closer to the truth, the pelvis or the metabolism, the outcome is the same. The human baby leaves the body long before it is done. It has to keep growing, keep developing, keep wiring its brain, out here in the open air, exposed to the world. And this is where the story flips completely. Because that flaw, that terrifying helplessness, turns out to be a hidden superpower. Think about what it actually means for your brain to finish its growth outside the womb. A foal's brain is mostly built in the safe darkness of the body, shaped by genes, sealed off from the world. But a huge portion of your brain was assembled out here, in the light, in the noise, surrounded by faces and voices and language and touch. Your brain did not finish in a sterile, unchanging environment. It finished while soaking in your particular family, your particular language, your particular world. That means the world itself got to help build your mind. The wiring of your brain was shaped in real time by the specific culture you were born into. A baby whose brain finished inside the womb would arrive preset, rigid, complete. But a human baby arrives as an unfinished draft, deliberately open, waiting to be written on by whatever world it lands in. Your helplessness is what made you endlessly adaptable. So let's reconstruct what that useless newborn is really doing. It cannot walk, true. But while it lies there, apparently doing nothing, it is doing the most important work of any human life. It is learning, absorbing faces, learning that a certain cry brings comfort, mapping the sounds of a language it will one day speak. Every hour of that long helplessness is an hour of the brain being customized to its exact world. The foal that ran within a day is, in a sense, already finished. The human baby that can barely move is still under construction, and that is precisely the point. But this gift came with a cost, and it fell on one group of people harder than any other: mothers. A helpless baby cannot be set down and left. It must be carried, held, fed, and protected around the clock for years. No human mother could ever do this alone. And here we return to a truth about our species. Two anthropologists, Karen Rosenberg and Wenda Trevathan, have pointed out that even human birth itself is unusually difficult and dangerous, precisely because of that tight fit between baby and pelvis. So much so that humans are almost unique in routinely seeking help during labor. From the very first moment, a human being is an animal that requires other humans. The helpless baby demands a mother, and the mother demands a group. Our newborn's weakness quietly forced us to become one of the most cooperative, deeply bonded species that has ever lived. And here is the final twist. That long, vulnerable, dependent childhood, the thing that looks like our greatest weakness, may be the true engine of everything we are. Because a creature that is helpless for years is a creature that must learn for years. It cannot rely on instinct alone. It has to be taught. And a species that spends over a decade learning, absorbing, and being shaped by others is a species that can accumulate knowledge, pass down culture, and reinvent its way of life in a single generation. Instinct is fast, but frozen. Learning is slow but limitless. We traded the quick, finished competence of the foal for something far more powerful. A long, open, teachable childhood. So think back to that newborn horse, up and running within a day, and that human baby, unable to lift its own head. It is tempting to see the horse as the winner, and the human as the tragic, fragile mistake. But you have it exactly backwards. The foal is born nearly complete because it has to be. Its life will be mostly what its genes already decided. Your helplessness is the sign of something rarer and stranger, a brain so ambitious it could not possibly be finished inside a body, a mind that had to be completed by the world itself. You were not born unfinished by accident. You were born unfinished so that you could become almost anything. A baby horse is born, and within an hour it can walk. A baby human is born and can do nothing at all. And that nothing, that helpless, waiting, wide-open nothing, is the most powerful beginning any animal on Earth has ever had.